First order of business is House File 3556. Chair Acom, you want to move your bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is on, right? Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Chair and members, for the opportunity to present House File 3556. It's a bill that is simply renaming the Community Solar Garden Program after Melissa Hortman. And it's a small way of showing her vision and her leadership and her public impact, really. I will say that arguably Melissa Hortman was the most consequential speaker in the Minnesota House history. And one thing I think we all knew about Melissa is that she wasn't always seeking the spotlight. She wasn't looking to be recognized, and she really enjoyed the opportunity to be able to lift up others. And so she probably wouldn't be very comfortable with this today, but I think that's why it's really important. And what I also appreciate about Melissa is that she felt like one of her favorite roles here was being chair of the Energy Committee. And I think that she enjoyed getting into the meat of the subjects, and as we all know, Melissa worked really hard. She worked with all of those that were impacted, and she came with, wanting to come up with a solution. And so I love that on her Twitter handle that she defined herself as a speaker, a member of the Minnesota House, and author of the Community Solar Garden and Solar Standard. And so these were accomplishments that happened under her leadership that she really felt strongly about. I think she traveled the country and honestly the world talking about the Community Solar Garden program, and many others have modeled their programs after the program that was started here in Minnesota. So our researcher went back and got me the clips from the floor debates when they passed the Community Solar Garden Bill in 2013, and it was really fun to watch and see some familiar faces. I think that Steve Simon was presiding over the House that day, and Erin Murphy was on the House floor, and she, in Melissa's comments, she referenced that session that Bob Eloff worked really, really hard. And we know that Bob works hard every session, so I'm glad that that's the way it's always been, even back in 2013. But passing the Community Solar Garden Bill was not only important to expand access to solar to so many, but it really sent a signal to the Community Solar Garden the solar garden, or the solar industry, I'll get it right. It really sent a signal that Minnesota was open for business, and it really started what has become a thriving solar industry in our state. And I think that's evident by so many of the members of that industry that are here today. And I don't want to go much further. I know they're going to talk a lot about the impacts on the industry, and so I will leave them to do that. And I think, Mr. Chair, there's a list of speakers, so maybe we can turn it over to our testifiers.
Yeah, thank you, Manager. Just one housekeeping item. I think we need to move the bill at this point. Would you like to do that? Oh, that's
an important piece of this, isn't it? Yeah. I would like to move House File 3556 to the General Register.
All right. Chair Acom moves House File 3556 to the General Register. Okay, we'll now have testifiers. First on the list is Katie Sieben. Welcome to the committee. Please introduce yourself and then proceed.
Do I need to turn this on? I don't think so. I think it's just on.
Chair Acom, Chair Swedinsky, members of the committee, Chair Kraft, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today. For the record, I'm Katie Sieben, the chair of the Minnesota Public Utilities Commission. Today, I urge your support of House File 3556 to rename the CSG program the Melissa Hortman Community Solar Garden Program, because it's a fitting tribute to Melissa Hortman's passion and dedication to a brighter, cleaner future for Minnesota. Melissa and I served together in the Minnesota House during the 2005 to 2007 sessions. But our friendship and collegiality continued over the next decade with conversations about civility, the patriarchy, our shared love of Walter Mondale, children, especially our own, unions, women's leadership in the C-suites, tribal engagement, recycling, and flowers, cementing our friendship as legislators and public servants. In the spring of 2013, as the energy omnibus legislation that contained this community solar garden program was moving through the House, I was serving as the Assistant Majority Leader in the Senate and was a member of the Senate Energy Committee. Senator John Marty worked closely with Senator Hoffman and other senators to pass, at that time, nation-leading solar energy policies. I remember being so proud of the trifecta's energy policies then, including the community solar garden program in that omnibus bill. Like Chair Acom, I listened to the archived recording, but of then Chair Hortman describing her legislation that would lead to the creation of the CSG program. I was struck, like has been stated here, again by hearing her voice. She was prepared, articulate without being argumentative, and effective at persuasion by her command of her favorite topic. Her leadership on energy, of course, didn't end when she ascended to higher positions. Becoming Speaker meant changing from being an advocate to being a leader, she said in an article from the Harvard Kennedy School. In our role as legislators, we are advocates for particular policies and causes. But in the higher levels of leadership, you become an executive running an organization and directing the entire institution to be effective. And as we know, she was such an effective executive. As Speaker, Minnesota again led the nation with clean energy mandates that would not have happened without her guidance and leadership. She engaged deeply with me as the chair of the commission on issues related to energy and affordability in her role as Speaker and as I've been the chair of the commission. Melissa shone brightly, and her legacy shines brightest with regard to a clean energy future. Naming the community solar program in her honor is a fitting tribute to her lifetime of service. I urge your support.
Thank you. Next, we have Pete Wyckoff. And so we're ready. Pete will be followed by Logan O'Grady. Welcome back to the committee. Please introduce yourself and proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Chair Acom. And thank you, committee. My name is Pete Wyckoff. I am Deputy Commissioner of Commerce for Energy, and I'm here today in support of the bill you lead, H.R. 3556, which will rename Minnesota's groundbreaking community solar garden program as the Melissa Hortman Community Solar Garden Program. Speaker Hortman was a tireless champion of solar energy in general and community solar gardens in particular. As chair of this committee in 2013, then Representative Hortman recognized the need to encourage a young, budding solar energy industry in Minnesota. Community solar gardens, or CSGs to the hip kids, represented a way to allow Minnesotans to obtain solar energy to meet their electric needs, regardless of whether they owned a home that was appropriate for rooftop solar or not. CSGs are also a proven mechanism for building medium-sized solar installations, which have additional grid value because they are often sited much nearer load than utility-scale solar. Minnesota's Community Solar Garden Program is truly a national model and has been replicated elsewhere. A recent article documented how CSGs are continuing to spread, often led now by Republican legislators in states like Georgia, Iowa, Missouri, and Ohio. Minnesota's CSG program was the initial driver of solar build-out at scale in Minnesota. For a long time, CSGs were responsible for a large majority of Minnesota's solar deployment. Utility-scale solar is finally catching up, but CSGs still represent over 40% of Minnesota's installed solar capacity. 3 years ago, as part of a flurry of legislation designed to accelerate the transition of Minnesota's electric system to one that is more reliable, more resilient, more affordable, and more clean, the original Community Solar Garden program was revised and recast. Speaker Hortman was again a driving force behind the legislation. Since 2023, the Energy Division at the Minnesota Department of Commerce has run the Low and Moderate Income Community Solar Garden program. We have pushed the total cumulative approved solar gardens in Minnesota to well over 1 gigawatt. For comparison, that nameplate capacity is substantially more than the 700 megawatts of polluting coal energy that Xcel plans to retire this year. The Commerce-run CSG program has approved 134 total new projects. The revised law requires that at least 30% of the solar capacity go to low and moderate income households, resulting in at least 10% average bill savings. To date, the actual number for approved gardens has been 70% low and moderate income subscribers and 12.3% savings. So we have leaped over those requirements. So the program is exceeding statutory goals. If you add in other targeted subscribers, affordable housing, schools, nonprofits, et cetera, the total targeted subscribers are nearly 80% of the approved new capacity. Community solar gardens set the stage for the development of solar power in Minnesota and were a vital step towards ensuring that everyone, regardless of their income or where they live, has a chance to benefit from the clean energy boom. When our solar build-out is complete, CSGs will only be a small part of Minnesota's electric system, but they have been essential to catalyzing solar development in Minnesota. And we can thank Melissa Hortman for that. I encourage you to support this bill.
Thank you. Next is Logan O'Grady. Please introduce yourself and then proceed, and following that will be Nick Bowman.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. For the record, my name is Logan O'Grady. I'm the Executive Director of the Minnesota Solar Energy Industries Association. I have the great privilege of representing our entire solar industry here in the state of Minnesota and the over 5,000 Minnesotans that work within that industry, many of whom are here today to support this legislation. I'm here with a heavy heart but immense pride in the strong support of this legislation. And thank you to Representative Acom for bringing this forward and giving our industry an opportunity to show our deep love for Speaker Emerita Hortman. I've often testified before this body that our industry is a creature of statute. Unlike a lot of other industries where policies and regulations are reactionary and created after the industry has developed, our industry was fundamentally created by the laws passed in these very rooms. We were born out of policy guided by a perspective of regulations from day one, and our daily work is dictated by the decisions that you all make in this chamber. Because of that reality, it is difficult and sometimes we're unable to point to people and say they are the reason that this entire industry exists. But for us, that person is Melissa. She's a hero to our community. Over the years, we had many names for her. She was, of course, representative and speaker, but in our world, she was our champion, our fiercest ally, our defender, our five-star general, and most affectionately, however, she was our solar godmother. She's the reason thousands of people across Minnesota have a job and a livelihood today. For the solar community, this bill isn't just about policy, it's deeply personal. In 2023, we tried to show her a fraction of our gratitude by presenting her with our industry's Lifetime Achievement Award, an honor that now proudly bears her name. Looking back, I can't express how grateful I am that we gave her that award when we had the chance. It stands as another enduring lesson she left for us. Don't hesitate, don't wait, do the work now, and express your gratitude now. When we handed her that award, her response was pure Melissa. She gave me a hard time, joking, "What am I supposed to do, retire now?" But quickly assured me that she still had a lot of work to do. She had a staggering list of accomplishments over her incredible career, yet to this day, as Chair Acom mentioned, her bio states only one: author of Minnesota's Solar Standard and Community Solar Law. Knowing how fiercely she cherished that work gives us all an incredible amount of comfort. Our industry is still young enough that I often say we are building the plane as we're flying it. Melissa was our first captain. She lifted us off the ground, and we are heartbroken to be no longer flying it with her. But her flight path went far beyond the borders of Minnesota. Because of her relentless vision, dozens of states are now following her lead in community solar and doing so in a bipartisan way, just as Melissa would have wanted it. One of my final conversations with her happened in the waning days of the 2025 session. We were, as usual, deep in the trenches of a heavy legislative fight over the CSG program. I asked her why, after years of relentless battles, she fought so passionately for it. She didn't blink. She said the program was put into place to deploy as much solar as possible, as fast as possible, since our planet is literally on fire. An editor's note, I may have taken out a swear word within that conversation. But behind that fierce, unapologetic determination was a profound humanity that defined her entire approach to politics and policy making. Melissa understood that while the stakes are high for our climate, the work was always about the people. She had a rare, beautiful ability to look past the political rhetoric and genuinely connect. And that's my personal takeaway from her life and my commitment to those of you in this room that we work with on a lot of legislation, to see you all behind the party labels or the job titles and aggressively seek common ground where we can find it. The solar industry has been unjustifiably politicized over the years. We can and must try to correct that by modeling the exact humanity that Melissa has taught us. She never stopped fighting for Minnesota, and she never stopped fighting for our planet. Renaming the program after her is the least we can do to acknowledge her real impact on our industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Nick Bowman. Please introduce yourself and proceed. Following Nick, we'll have George Damian.
Thank you, Chair Kraft, Chair Swedzinski, and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Nick Bowman, and I serve as the Senior Manager of Markets and Research for the Coalition for Community Solar Access, or CCSA. It is my privilege to speak in strong support of HF 3556 today. CCSA is a national trade association representing more than 120 community solar developers, businesses, and nonprofit organizations working to expand access to affordable, locally generated solar energy for American households and businesses. Minnesota holds a special place in the history of community solar. Speaker Hortman was the original legislative champion who authored and advanced the language creating Minnesota's community solar program as part of the 2013 Energy Omnibus Bill. Her leadership, foresight, and persistence were instrumental in establishing what would become one of the most successful community solar programs in the nation. Without her work, Minnesota would not be the national leader it is today in expanding customer choice and access to clean energy. At the time, Minnesota's program was one of the first in the nation. It helped prove that third-party community solar could work at scale, delivering savings to families, new options for small businesses, local economic development, and meaningful carbon reductions. Because of that early leadership, other states followed. Today, more than a dozen states operate third-party community solar programs, collectively generating more than 10 gigawatts of community solar capacity nationwide. Here in Minnesota alone, more than 1 gigawatt of community solar is now delivering clean, locally produced energy to residents and businesses. That represents thousands of subscribers, millions of dollars in private investment, and a durable clean energy market that continues to create jobs and expand access to those who cannot install solar on their own roofs. CCSA is proud to support HF 3556, renaming Minnesota's community solar program in Speaker Hortman's honor, would appropriately recognize her foundational role in creating this market and would permanently link her legacy to one of the state's most impactful clean energy achievements. It would also send a clear message that Minnesota values pragmatic, forward-looking leadership that expands opportunity and delivers tangible results for its residents. I can think of no more fitting tribute than to attach her name to a program that has empowered Minnesotans, strengthened local economies, and positioned the state as a national clean energy leader. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I respectfully urge your support of HF 3556.
Thank you. Next is George Damian. George, please introduce yourself and proceed. Following George is Bobby King.
Thanks for being here. Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chair Kraft and committee members. My name is George Damian, and I'm the Director of Government Affairs for Clean Energy Economy Minnesota, also known as SEAM. We are an industry-led, nonpartisan nonprofit representing more than 70 clean energy businesses who employ tens of thousands of Minnesotans across the state. Speaker Melissa Hortman was a larger-than-life figure in the Minnesota House. She was not only a champion of renewable energy, she was a steward of the institution itself. She understood the weight of the decisions made in this room and approached energy policy with a seriousness, discipline, and long-term perspective. She believed Minnesota could lead on renewable energy while strengthening our economy and creating durable public policy that businesses and communities could rely on. What set her apart was her credibility across party lines. Even in moments of disagreement, she earned the respect for her preparation, her integrity, and her commitment to getting policy right. She was focused not on headlines, but on building frameworks that would stand the test of time. Today, Minnesota's clean energy economy supports over 60,000 jobs and attracts national investment. That trajectory did not happen by accident. It reflects leaders like Speaker Hortman, who are willing to think big and build lasting foundations. Honoring Speaker Hortman in this way is a fitting tribute to a leader who shaped Minnesota's energy future and strengthened the House she served. SEAM thanks Chair Acom for bringing this bill forward and urges your support.
Thank you. Next is Bobby King. Please introduce yourself and then proceed. Following Bobby, we'll have Patty O'Keefe.
Chair and committee, my name is Bobby King. I'm the Minnesota State Director for Solar United Neighbors. We help folks access solar at their homes, farms, and small businesses and work for policy that makes more solar possible, and I'm testifying in support of this legislation. It took vision, expertise, determination, and political savvy to establish Minnesota's Community Solar Garden Program. Melissa Hortman had this unique set of skills, was strong in actually every one of those categories, and we're fortunate that she put that to work to establish this nation-leading program. The program, as others have testified to, delivers energy savings and value to all XL ratepayers. It has created a lot of jobs to build the community solar, maintain it, and manage the subscriptions, and it delivers renewable energy that we need to address climate change. Representative Hortman wanted Minnesota to be a North Star on modeling how we can move to a renewable energy system in a way that benefits us all. The Community Solar Garden Program does that. It wouldn't be here without her, and it's fitting that the program bear her name. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Patty O'Keefe. Following Patty will be Timothy Denherter Thomas. All right. Welcome back to the committee. Please state your name for the record, then proceed.
Hi, everybody. My name is Patty O'Keefe. I am with Vote Solar, and I just want to share our support, my support for House File 3556. My first time testifying on any bill at the legislature was on it was like a solar tax credit bill that came before the House Energy Committee. It was back when Pat Garofalo was the chair of the committee, and I testified and I shared about how my mom really wanted to she wanted to get solar panels on her roof, but at the time she couldn't she couldn't afford it. She didn't have great credit. And so we were, wanting more solutions for people that really wanted to go solar, but maybe couldn't for certain reasons. And Melissa Hortman was on the committee at that time, and she came up to me after that hearing and just thanked me for sharing about my mom, told me that, vulnerability can be both, it's hard and important. And she encouraged me to just go on and keep pushing. And it was the first conversation that I'd had with her, and I was, she motivated me. And now, yeah, I work at Vote Solar. I'm still pushing. She was an incredible person, and I miss her. And I just want to say that. And what other people have said is true. The reason that we have a successful community solar program today is because of Melissa Hortman. She was passionate about all solar, but especially community solar, because it was more directly connected to people, and she deeply cared about people. And I think this name change, it gives credit where it's due, but also ensures that people know and remember her impact on that issue, long after we're no longer sitting in these chairs and it's other people, right? So just want to say thank you for considering the bill. And anyways, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. After Timothy, we're going to have Eric Pazzi. Please introduce yourself, Timothy, and proceed.
Thank you. My name is Timothy Dennerter Thomas. I'm General Manager at Cooperative Energy Futures, and I'm speaking in support of House File 3556. Cooperative Energy Futures is a member-owned co-op. We have about 1,500 member owners across Minnesota, ranging from North Minneapolis to St. Cloud and Faribault and all parts of central and southern Minnesota. And we believe, as we know Speaker Melissa Hortman did, that we need an energy future where all Minnesotans can participate and can benefit from the clean energy transition. That this is, not just for big companies, for Wall Street, for utilities. This is also for folks like me and you. And that's really what our cooperative has been about. We've been building an organization really fueled by the community solar program that is helping low and moderate income households reduce their energy bills and really participate, build wealth from helping enable community solar and solar energy development in our state. We've really seen this program be a game changer in terms of access, enabling renters, enabling folks who can't put solar on their own roof, and also as a very easy way for people to get into other parts of the energy transition, into energy efficiency and electrification and all those sorts of things. And throughout, Melissa Hortman has been an incredible champion in the original foundation and passage of this program, and in the overhaul in 2023 that reshaped it to much more strongly focus on low and moderate income households. This program is a really key element of Speaker Hortman's legacy. And while I would much rather be celebrating the progress of this program with her here with us, I can think of really no better way to honor her contributions to an energy future in Minnesota that really is designed to work for all of us, to be for Minnesotans, and to show what a different type of energy future can look like. Thank you.
Thank you. After Eric, we're going to have Erica Forsman. Welcome to the committee. Please introduce yourself and proceed.
Chair and members, my name is Eric Posse. I'm the CEO of Enterprise Energy, a Minnesota-based community solar developer, and I'm here in strong support of naming this program in honor of Melissa Hortman. In 2013, Minnesota made history with the Solar Jobs Act, creating the first significant community solar program in the country. That didn't happen by accident. It happened because of leadership. Melissa was central to that effort. Because of this program, companies like Enterprise Energy were able to form, grow, and serve communities across our state. Thousands of Minnesotans, renters, small businesses, schools, and especially low and moderate income families have been able to participate in clean energy for the first time. This program didn't just build solar farms, it built Minnesota businesses, it built careers, it built opportunity. And when the program needed to evolve, she stepped up again in 2023, helping refocus it to better serve families who might otherwise be left behind, while also leading Minnesota toward 100% clean energy by 2040. But what I'll remember most is personal. When I was new to the process in 2013, no title, no influence, she took a meeting. She listened. She treated me as if I mattered. That combination of courage and kindness is rare. Renaming this program isn't symbolic, it's fitting. Because every time Enterprise Energy brings a new solar project online, every time a Minnesota family saves money through community solar, her impact is still working. The Minnesota Community Solar Program changed my life and built Enterprise Energy. Naming it after Melissa Hortman simply tells the truth about who made that possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Erica Forsman, and Erica will be followed by Jim Pearson. Welcome. Please introduce yourself and proceed.
Vice Chair Kraft, Chair Swedinsky, committee members, thank you. My name is Erica Forsman, and I serve as the Chief Commercial Officer for U.S. Solar. We're a Minnesota-based, full-scale solar and battery energy storage developer and owner-operator. We have been active in Minnesota's community solar program since our founding in 2014. If you ask U.S. Solar about Melissa Hortman, we view her as the singular leader who made the community solar program possible. Quite simply, without her leadership, this market would not exist the way it does today. If you ask other organizations, you will hear about her impact in many different areas, making life more affordable for families, strengthening early childhood education, and improving access to affordable healthcare for all. Regardless of who you ask and which policy area they care most about, you will constantly hear the same thing. Melissa Hortman was one of the most effective legislators in Minnesota. What truly set her apart was not just the policies she advanced, but how she led, with discipline, strategic clarity, and the ability to build bipartisan relationships that delivered real results for Minnesota. As Energy Chair, she authored the landmark community solar legislation in 2013 that sparked the solar sector growth across the state. The policy framework she created enabled companies like ours to get our start and grow while investing in skilled employees here in Minnesota. Since the passage of the bill in 2013, U.S. Solar has employed over 50 local professionals and provided hundreds of jobs to our community of construction contractors and engineers. We've created broad benefits, including rural economic development, improved grid resilience, and delivered valuable savings to thousands of residents, public entities, and local businesses. Because of Minnesota's early adoption of the community solar program, Minnesota-based companies were able to gain experience and capabilities early. Some other markets are dominated by out-of-state companies, but this early experience put Minnesota-based companies in a position to lead their home market and set an example for other states. Today, U.S. Solar is a medium-scale business that embraces new technologies, like battery energy storage systems, and competes against and often wins against larger international companies. We were lucky to get our start in Minnesota and in this program. I have worked in solar in the state of Minnesota since 2009. As a former board member and president of MNSEA, I have seen firsthand the transformation that the passage of the community solar legislation in 2013 and the broader impact that that brought to the industry. By positioning Minnesota as a national leader in community solar, the state created a proving ground for larger projects, attracted new financing partners, and built expertise that allowed companies across the sector to grow. The workforce growth extended beyond developers. It included construction and engineering, legal and finance, real estate, and many more sectors. Her work created the market certainty and the structure that allowed businesses to invest, hire, and scale here in Minnesota. One invaluable lesson Melissa Hortman taught me personally, and a lot of leaders in Minnesota renewable energy, is to never waver in the face of immense pressure. It took years and relentless effort, but Melissa and others ultimately succeeded to reshape the program to prioritize low to moderate income subscribers. And now thousands of income qualified households will have a lower energy burden thanks to this revised community solar program. In closing, Melissa Hortman was a champion for our company, for community solar, the solar industry, and the future of Minnesota. Minnesota leads because Melissa Hortman believed that we should. U.S. Solar supports this bill to officially rename the Community Solar Program in honor of Melissa Hortman. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pearson, please introduce yourself and proceed.
Good afternoon, committee. Jim Pearson with Xcel Energy. I'll be brief. You've heard a lot of great and powerful testimony, and I don't need to belabor that, but I did want to lend our support to Representative Acom and the bill. I was part of the Xcel team in 2013 when the bill was negotiated, and I've been around the discussion ever since. And I can absolutely say there was no bigger champion of the program than Melissa Hortman. So bringing the bill forward and giving her the recognition and the credit for the program, we fully support, and it's, I just appreciate being able to lend our voice to today's conversation. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to testify? Okay, with that, we'll move to member comments. Representative Carroll.
Thank you, Vice Chair, and thank you, Chair Acom, for bringing this bill forward. I can't help but think that Melissa would say, as she said when she saw the plans for the remodeled or the redo of the state office building, it's a bit much. However, that said, it's more than fitting, more than due, and thank you for doing it. I think somehow she'll get by.
Yeah.
Representative Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Chair Acom for bringing the bill. It's very reflective. I came in here my first term when Representative Hortman at the time was not the chair any longer when Pat Garofalo became chair, but she was on the Energy Committee with me, and she kicked my butt. I was not a fan of community solar gardens because it was really expensive at the time, getting things off and running. I was really challenging it a lot, and she really taught me how to be a better legislator, about how to learn and understand the bills. She was so smart. She was just, and again, when she got behind something, nothing got in her way, whether she was a representative or a speaker. I appreciated what Chair Seaman had to say about Melissa, and I was hoping when she mentioned this that there was that video cut of her, and we should have been playing that today.
Yeah.
And maybe another time, but, and I didn't see it, and so it was before my time when she was the chair kind of wrapping this thing up. But she was so good at what she did and what she believed in, and again, we may not have agreed on how it was done, but she certainly changed the way Minnesota looked at solar. And again, with my work on the net metering bill right now, with you and Representative Kraft and our Mencia folks and the co-ops and others, I believe that she would want to make sure that we got this right if we are going to find compromise somewhere. But Melissa was such a champion around energy and how she wanted to do it. So I think this is a very good bill to support. Thank you.
Representative Mahmoud.
Thank you so much for bringing this forward. You know, Speaker Hortman was a powerhouse, and so I find this very fitting. in a way to remember and honor her. And, you know, just having worked with everyone here, I just know the appreciation that we all have for her leadership. I only got to work with her for a year, and in that year, I got to see the impact that she had on all of us. And so thank you so much for bringing this forward. I really see this as so fitting.
Chair Swedzinski.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Aiken, for carrying this bill. You know, I think we would all wish, every single person in this room would wish a bill like this doesn't exist, right? And, you know, I think the heartfelt debate on CSG as a whole, this is not what we're debating today. We're debating on the quality of a legislator, a quality of a person, a quality of a woman, and the importance of taking leadership in things that you believe, whether you agree with them or not. That this is one thing that is not up for debate, is the quality of Melissa Hortman as a person, as a legislator, and as a woman. And so we want to thank Melissa Hortman for her work, and we want to thank you, Madam Chair, for carrying this bill, and I would just recommend everyone can vote yes today. So thank you.
I'll have a few comments before I send it back to you. Representative Baker, I think there are many people that could say Melissa Hortman kicked my butt. She had an impact in so many areas. You hear about the lives, the jobs, the economic impact, the impact on clean energy that's in this area, and that impact is in spades in so many other areas. We miss her every day. I miss her every day. You know, we're getting through this, and we'll be fine because of the great team she built, but it's hard, and the emotion is never that far beneath the surface. And then the last thing is that, Logan, you mentioned that she said she had a lot of work to do, and I think it's to us to continue that work. Thank you. Madam Chair.
Well, I want to start by thanking everybody who came today and who testified for the stories that you shared and this path of grief that we're on together. I also miss her terribly. Melissa should still be here. Her service to our state wasn't done. Renaming the Community Solar Garden program in her name is one way we can make sure she's not forgotten. I renew my motion that House File 3556 be referred to the General Register.
Chair Aiken renews her motion that House File 3556 be re-referred to the General Register. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion prevails. The bill is referred to the General Register.